we're going to look at some perfect square applications. First of all, we're going to look at how to find lengths of sides of squares when we know the area. The special thing about squares is that their sides are the same. So normally when you have a shape like this, you would say for the area, you're used to saying length times width. But now we're going to try to start using side squared instead. You can only use this with squares because all the side lengths are the same. So to find area, you would do side times side, which is side squared. Therefore, if we're given a square like this one, and we know that the area is 25, we have to ask ourselves, what do we multiply by itself to get 25? Or in other words, what is the square root of 25? The answer is obviously 5. So the length of the sides is 5. And then a lot of times they'll take that one step further and ask you for the perimeter. Now be careful. Don't try to do 5 times 5 again. We have to add 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. So that's 5, 10, 15, and 20. 20 would be the perimeter. The next one we have here is 100 would be the area. So what is the square root of 100? Be careful. A lot of people would look at this and say 50. It's not 50 because you're not dividing by 2. You are actually taking the square root. The square root of 100 is 10. Therefore, each side is 10. And the perimeter is 10, 20, 30, and 40. Again, we are not dividing by 2. We're taking the square root. Now, this one is a little different. If we find the square root of 45, is there a perfect square? Is 45 a perfect square? And the answer is no, it's not. And so we could just simply do the square root of 45 and leave it that way until you learn later how to simplify that. So each side is the square root of 45. So the perimeter would just be 4 square roots of 45. Later next year, you'll learn how to simplify this a little easier. Then I just want to do a quick review of some square roots with fractions and decimals. Remember, you can separate this into 2 radicals, and the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 49 is 7. That's all you have to do with these fractions. Separate them out. The square root now of 16 is 4, and the square root of 196 is 14. And obviously you could simplify that into 2/7. Now be careful with your decimals. First of all, you need to read the decimal out to yourself. This is tenths place and hundredths place. So basically we are doing 9 hundredths. So rewrite it as a fraction. Now what is the square root of 9? The answer is 3. And the square root of 100 is 10. Don't try to do the decimal before changing it into a fraction. This is a lot easier. This one again is tenths hundredths. So we're doing 25 hundredths. And the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 100 is 10, which reduces to 1/2. So I hope this helps. Be careful. You're not dividing by 2. You are taking the square root, which is different. Be careful when you're working with area of sides. Thank you.